everybody, my name is Orion Prada-Phillips and I am the host of One-on-One with Orion, powered by Real Entrepreneurs Television. Today we have our special guest and I'm going to allow her to say her first and last name and her business.
Hey guys, it's Lauren here. And that's usually just all I go by is Lauren. I am the owner and founder of Studio 4212, which has now transitioned into what I call a beauty conglomerate. And that actually encompasses a few different business entities that I'm sure I'll get to tell you guys all about as we keep going.
Hey Lauren, how are you?
I'm good.
You good?
I am.
All right, so tell me a little bit about Studio 4212.
Ooh. It's a lot.
Tell me a little, a lot, whatever it is that we need to know about Studio 42.
I'll tell you exactly what it is. So Studio 4212, as I mentioned previously, has actually blossomed into what I call a beauty conglomerate. I am about all things hair, skin, and nails, all things beauty. And that's kind of like where it got its original foundation from me deciding one day to go to beauty school. Because I just could not absolutely do nothing else for nobody else, meaning working for other people. Like, that's just not me. I'm so non-traditional, and I don't like to think inside of being in a box. So starting off as a cosmetologist and then going right back to school for instructor's training. So I am not only just a cosmetologist, but I'm also a cosmetology educator as well, which I get have the beauty of teaching all things hair, skin, and nails, because as a cosmetologist, that's what you're licensed to do. So, yeah, transitioning from working in a salon for a few years, and I opened up my own studio, which is Studio 4212. From there, we have blossomed into a summer beauty program that's actually called the Beauty Boot Camp. I've had the opportunity to actually extend the summer program into what is now offered to schools, which is called a beauty club, where it's basically the same thing as the summer camp, but just offered throughout the school year to certain schools that are actually interested or they see the benefit of having such an empowering program to help empower their kids that may be interested in something else besides going to, your traditional colleges. And then we've also now blossomed into our own cosmetology school, which we're waiting for final procedures to move forward that to actually open, and it's called the Cosmetology Institute. So that is the biggest accomplishment thus far out of Studio 4212. And yeah.
Sounds like you have a lot going on in this beautiful big building.
Thank you.
You have a lot going on.
I do.
So being here with you is like a personal thing for me. I am a woman, natural. I have a daughter, natural. And we don't do hair. I don't know how to do hair. I don't know where to begin. So people like me keep you in business. We love to get a hairstylist. We love to have an educator.
Praise God for you guys.
So no, praise God for you guys. So you did tell us a lot about 4212, but I want you to tell me, how did you begin that journey? Like, what made you go into cosmetology?
I was 17. I had my son at 17, so I got pregnant with him in high school. And people just thought that was going to be the worst of the worst. But that was like the best thing that happened to me. Because he actually fueled me to really realize that you really don't like nobody to tell you nothing.
Right.
You really don't listen to nobody. And your mouth is horrible. That's what I had to realize for myself. I do a lot of self-evaluations. And then Katrina happened. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So I thought about it, like, what could you do that would give you the freedom and flexibility to still be a mom, like a present mom, and raise your son successfully, but also control your income and then control my schedule too, because I don't like time restraints. So I enrolled in beauty school. I went to Stevenson's Academy, and it was really one of like the greatest decisions I could have ever made. The people that actually were my teachers and the owners of the school were just very positive in helping you realize, some of the things that you needed to change about yourself. So that's where it all started. Realizing that I needed to figure out what I was going to do for myself and my son. And just knowing that something needed to be done.
So let's back up just a little bit. You told us about 4212. You told us where did you start. tell us a little bit about who Lauren is. Like, what is it that Lauren does outside of 4212? Who is Lauren, and what does Lauren bring to 4212?
Oh God. So, girl,
you got to get comfortable on that one. All right,
I like that one. So it took a long time for Lauren to realize who she is, what she wanted, because for a very long time she operated in a space of doing things for other people. I was raised by my grandmother, and my mom was there, but my mom was young when she had me, so she really didn't have what I would feel is a connection with maternal instincts. She loved us, don't get me, don't take that away from her, but my grandmother was just more motherly and nurturing than my mom was. But my mom also had 2 other kids, and then she was real close with her sister, and my grandmother was close with her other daughter as well. So we all kind of were groomed together. But with me being the oldest of the 7 little kids that was around at the time, I had to kind of like have that take charge initiative to take care of everything for everybody else. So it took a long time for me to really realize, and I actually had an epiphany one day. Like, I really don't remember exactly when that happened, but I had a moment to where, because somebody asked me, like, what does Lauren want? What does Lauren like? And because I've been so consumed with taking care of other people, you know, cooking since the age of 9, doing everybody's hair, doing braids and stuff. So I kind of like, you know, I never really had a passion for doing hair. Like, when people ask me, they're like, what's your passion? My passion is not doing hair.
Well, what is it?
Teaching.
Okay.
I love to teach.
So that's where the instructional piece comes in.
Exactly. I am a phenomenal educator, and I love to help people realize what they have in them. So for so long, I operated trying to figure out, and not even really operated, just helping other people figure out what was best for them. That was the greatest point, like accomplishment or achievement for me, because I just wanted to help them. Okay. So yeah, so when you ask me, like, who am I? What do I like to do? Like, all of who I am is founded inside of helping other people identify who they are. Because that's kind of like all I know. I don't really operate outside of that because I don't really know how to. So I get my greatest joy and accomplishments, like, by helping other people. Like, your success is my success. And that's actually part of the motto for the school. You know, your success is my success. If you fail, I fail. But if you succeed, I succeed too. So that's kind of like how I navigate through life.
I like that. I like that. Amazing. Amazing. So what was your, I think you answered this a little bit, but what was your key driving force for Studio 4212? I assume it was your son, like you said.
Oh, God, it was definitely him. But I'm a go-getter. Like, I'm driven. I'm courageous. I will take a leap of faith and jump out on what people be like, girl, you crazy. But like, I get like, for me, jumping on edge and like doing things like spur the moment, that's a fuel for me. Because if, you know, I look at it as if, hey, if you fail, you fail. If you succeed, you succeed. But you won't know what's going to actually happen until you actually try it. So my son was definitely the fueling point behind that. But then also, like, I worked in Houma teaching cosmetology for 5 years. And because Studio 4212 wasn't thought about while I was in beauty school. Okay. If you don't really know, like, from New Orleans to Houma, it's an hour drive. So I was driving an hour there and then an hour back.
So you weren't living in Houma. I was living here, I was home in New Orleans, driving to Houma every day for 5 years. Okay. Yeah. Determination.
That was just my journey at the time. And it's not like I even had to. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and it was like, well, why did you do that? And I was about to say, well, you do what you have to do. That wasn't even my case. I just was led to apply for a job out there. Ended up getting a job. And yeah, I stayed there for 5 years. But on my ride there, like, I would just have these long talks with God, like, just talking. And at the time, I'm still really spiritual, but I was like super religious, like, at this point, like, into the Bible and this and this. And nothing is wrong with that. But I've grown to identify some things for myself. And so 4212 just kept popping, like, in my head. 4212, 4212, and I'm like, okay, God, like, I don't really know what this means, but at the time, like I said, I was really into the Bible, so I just kind of like Googled books of the Bible that have 42 chapters in the 12th verse. Well, none of them had 42 chapters in the 12th verse. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to reverse it and do 12 and 42. And it was Matthew 12 and 42, and it was like the only book of the Bible, and like whatever I was doing at the time, it just really resonated with me. So I'm not going to say it was the only one, but at the time it resonated, and it was the scripture starts off with saying Matthew 12 and 42, starts off with talking about it's the queen of the South, and she will rise and reign. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm a queen,
and I'm rising
from the South, and like I'm rising. So it was like, dang. So that really just resonated with me. And it was like, you know what? Studio 4212 was birthed ever since. And everything that I do when I talk to people, you know, they want me to brand everything individually. But Studio 4212 was the baby. Like, everything that it does is like, it's Studio 4212, you know, and then me, or then the school, or then the camp. And that's just what it is. And people used to tell me, well, you can't do it. Like, you can't tell me what I can't do, because the vision wasn't given to you. It was given to me. So I have to, because the plan was laid, I have to follow it the way that it was given to me.
Right.
And not to you. And so many people would be looking at me like I'm crazy, or they really didn't understand, or they made me feel like they didn't understand. Because, you know, when you're really passionate about something, you want other people to feel the same way you feel about it. And it doesn't always actualize to be that. So
right. And sometimes they understood, but they just didn't want to understand. Sometimes that happens when you're telling someone your vision, and they see your vision, or they might understand your vision, but they don't want to.
Right.
You know, so sometimes you have to really step away from situations like that and know what you have. And like you said, that was your vision. So I'm gonna ask this, you know, because it is what it is. It's what we're going through.
Let's get it, girl.
What changes have you had to go through with this COVID-19? How has 4212 been affected by it?
In all honesty, I can't say it's been affected at all.
Wow.
And the reason being is because I have some great clients that were considered to be essential clients. And probably shouldn't even be saying this, but at the end of the day, COVID is over. For the most, not over, but for the most part, meaning that stylists and everybody are actually able to go back and open. But I did actually take some of my essential clients, because it was, you know, you have to think about it. For somebody that's used to getting their hair done every week or every other week, for you to tell me that I can't get my hair done, I don't really know how to, you know, rationalize that and perceive that. So I'm going to call my stylist, which was me, and they did, and they asked me, was I still doing it? I was like, hey, I mean, at this point, I'm still going to Walmart, I'm going to Winn-Dixie, my kids are home, but I'm out. So I was like, okay, well, you know, not that I didn't believe it was real, because I do know people that were actually like severely sick, and then some have actually perished, but I was like, yeah, this ain't really going on, and I just kind of like moved that way. But I also, like, I really have my faith is so strong that, not saying that I can't be touched, but I just also feel like if I really believe, like I say I believe, then I don't really have anything to worry about. So my business hasn't suffered. Okay. It really hasn't, and I'm grateful to that, because I'm sure not many people can say that. But then also too, I really live a free flow life. Like, if something happens and I cannot change the direct like result of what it is, I don't stress out about it. For what?
So I heard you say, you know, you have your essential clients and you have your customers. How did you build that? How, you know, coming from 17 years old, going to cosmetology school at Stevenson, you know, what did Lauren do to get Lauren's name out there, to get Studio 4212 out there? How did you build your customer base?
Oh, Lauren was a hustler back then. She was, and I mean, honestly, like, that's just what it was. Now, I can say that when I first got out of school, I was, you know, the teachers would be saying, you know, well, you have to go and give out your business cards and this. But when somebody telling you that, you're like, man, I'm not going out there and introduce myself to nobody. Like, I'm not doing it. So, yeah, it maybe took me, I'm going to say, it literally took me, honestly, about 2 years to really build the confidence that was needed to understand, like, I needed to take this seriously, because straight out of beauty school, the school gave me a scholarship to go back for instructor's training. So I was always teaching. Wow. So I never really had that time where I was like in the salon, just straight in the salon. I was always teaching, and then in the salon, I guess what people would consider part-time. So I would take all of my clients in the evening, and then either all day on the Saturday and the Sunday, but I used to work 7 days a week. So that's what it really took. Like, once I realized that it was no need to be afraid and understand, you know, getting to a point of accepting rejection. But and I can say that because what my teachers were telling me about how to promote yourself and market, I found myself sharing these same stories with my students. Then I would get mad with them when they come back and it's like 3 years later and you're like, what are you doing?
Right.
They're like, oh, I'm working, you know, I went back to school to be a nurse, so I'm a nurse. Now you're like, why did you do that? And so I've always been a person, so if I'm encouraging and motivating you to do something, like I need to see if it's going to work too. So I had to start taking what I was like, what I already knew, what was told to me, and you know what, just come on, you this person that got this big personality, this big attitude. You say you ain't scared of nothing. Well, basically put your money where your mouth is. So I had to push myself out there, even when I didn't want to. But I got a bunch of business cards, like 5,000 business cards. I would go and hand them suckers out every day. Hey, how you doing? My name is Lauren. I'm a hairstylist. Be like, I got a stylist already. Doesn't matter. Take this card because you know what? Anything can happen. And just call me. And if you don't, it's totally fine. And it would, you know, and then boy, once I got on that, babe, I would go in the mall. I would go in and just walking up to everybody and giving them my cards. And a lot of it came from some people be like, oh, you know, I remember your personality and you gave me your card. You still do hair, you know, months, years down the line. But a lot of my clientele was built from my clients that would sit in my chair. Once you came to get your hair done and we having a conversation, you know, we talking, you know, because in hair salons and barbershops, that's where all of the everything comes up. So, you know, you now are not just, you know, your client's stylist. You become, you know, depending upon the age, you know, you're like a mother figure, you're like an aunt, you're a cousin, your best friend. You become so many things, like a lawyer. You giving off advice. You're like, hold up, I didn't even go to law school, you know. So different things like that, which make you really see, okay, well, this is what it is. And so now they tell somebody, you know, hey, you need to go to this stylist because not only does she do hair, but she a teacher. So I also think that being a teacher and people have really been had some real bad experiences from other people who either licensed or not, because I tell people all the time, just because you go to beauty school, it's really the teacher. It's not the school. It's the teacher that sets you with that foundation for success.
Okay.
So if the teacher doesn't really have all of the skills necessary for you to succeed, it's kind of almost like you won't. Because even though, you know, let's say, because I've had people that have degrees, right? Let's say 2 or 3 degrees, but then they have some type of change in life and they want to go to beauty school. And you're like, wait, hold up. You want to pay all this money to go, and now you come and pay all this money to come to beauty school. Like, why? But you can't question it because they were just at a point in life where they were looking for something different. And it's just like, wow. And you know that you see yourself helping them, and it's like, okay, so this is what I have to do. And that's kind of like how it happened, just from watching, not just also like my clients and getting referrals from them, but just also watching myself develop and grow as an educator really helped fuel me to say, you know what, you have to go out there and get it. If you want it, you don't want to go work for nobody that's crazy, because I still was working at a school, but I feel like it was more of a service of me teaching compared to actually going to work. Because I would get up, I'm happy, like I'm up out the door on time, I'm at work 15-20 minutes before time, and I loved it. Like I love what I do.
Okay. We are going to take a quick break. So Lauren, you mentioned all of the great things you have going on at Studio 4212. How do you generate new ideas? How do, you know, is it you're laying in the bed, you're thinking, you're just trying to figure out what's your next move? Like, how do you actually, you know, how do these ideas come to you? How do your visions come? Do they literally come as a vision and you just move forward with it? Like, how you have so much going on here. How did you come up with all of that? Because I'm sure you said you didn't even think to be a cosmetologist, and next thing you know, you were. Then you're an educator. Then you were this. So how did all that come about? How do you get your new idea, your vision, and put it into play?
Stuff just pop into my head, and then a lot of it is that I have to write it down, or even in my notes, because if something pop into my head, and a lot of it sometimes don't even be ideas for me, but if I know that you do something and you come up in my head, if I call you and tell you about an idea and you don't jump on it, then guess what I do? The idea becomes back mine, because at this point it wasn't originally for me, but now I know how to actually, you know, hey, I know how to get it done, but I don't really want to do it because everything that I do, like, it has to flow. So Studio 4212 came, of course, I mean, at that point I wasn't thinking about a name for what I wanted everything to be, but I kind of started thinking about, okay, how I'm going to plan all of this out. Okay, well, you do hair. Okay, so then it became from doing hair to being a teacher. So now you teach hair and you do hair. Okay, so then how are you going to make those things work? Okay, because I can't let it go nowhere, because remember, everything has to flow together. Then I started offering private classes. So now I'm teaching at the school, I'm doing hair, and I'm doing sidebar classes. And so then it's like, okay, well, how do you make that work? So then teaching at the school, I'm big on, like I said, if I share something with you and I want to see you grow, like I just want to help you. I want to help you if I can. So there's another all of my ideas came from Homer. Yes. So I was working at Homer, and I had actually just got a promotion to become the program director. So now I'm like not a teacher, but then the crazy part about it is, and then I get all of these crazy obstacles to deal with, because the previous program director actually is my mom, but she, you know, passed the torch to me. I got the job, but all she had to do was just be the program director. I had to be the program director and still teach. But you know what? I was younger, and all of my accomplishments really have come like when I was younger. Like people would be like, you know, oh, how old? You're like, dang, like you're really like that. Yeah, because again, I have really a tenacious spirit. Like I'm a go-getter. Like I'm very ambitious, and so whatever I have to do to make the adjustments to get what I want is going to get done. So my students, we would always be telling them, hey, you know, y'all need to go to beauty shows. Like y'all got to go to a beauty show. Well, in Homer, not everybody is, you know, it's basically I was dealing with people that were in poverty. Like these are people who I deal with every day. Like it's no secret. So if you have kids, you know, you have a family, or you have just other extenuating circumstances, you know, it's easy for your teacher who have a permanent job, you know, getting a permanent paycheck to tell you this is what you should do. So I said, you know what, I can't keep doing that, because like I know that if they go, like if they would just go, their mindset would just elevate, and that's what I needed. Like I needed them to see it. So I created their own show. So, and it was called, actually it was called Hair Explosion 2014. That was the very first hair show I ever did. Didn't know anything about it, but I mean, I could read, I could follow people, I knew how to, so I made it happen. We created our first show. The school, everybody was like, oh, she's gonna take the money. It wasn't about the money. Because first of all, technically, beauty schools cannot put on their own shows for a profit. So what I did was I put Studio 4212 and Blue Cliff College, because that was the school I was working for. So that way it would be like, if I get the money, I was donating the money right back to them. I couldn't steal it, but that was to help, because I needed money for my program. The school wasn't trying to invest any money into the program. So I said, okay, well, this will be a way, giving my students an experience, bringing opportunities to them. They did the hair and fashion show. We went rode in my car, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, all of these different places to promote the show, right? We did this all with me. And the school was the people that I was working with that was supposed to, you know, that was, oh, well, we're going to support you. Oh, we're so proud, girl. We're so excited that you have this position.
Where were they?
But when I got the position, everybody had all these negative things to say. When I know that my heart was pure, like all of my intentions were good. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about the students, because again, if they do good, I do good.
Right.
So I really wanted them to see, because hold up, that's a whole nother income for them to do that. People make like money off doing these shows. So guess what? The school ain't want to do the show. I told them they could have their position, because it was a lot weighing on me, but I only had one child at the time, so I was cool with that. You know, the dynamics of my life had not changed so much. But I told them, y'all can have this position, y'all can have everything that goes along with it. And guess what? I took my money, because at that point, I did all the work, I did everything. The school paid for nothing. But I was going to donate this money back to y'all. It was my idea, it was my money, I took my money, and that's actually when I opened Studio 4212.
Okay.
I opened the very first salon for Studio 4212. And then yeah, life happened, had the twins, had to close the shop, and then but I was cool with that too, because everything is about, for me, it's about seeing, you know, the opportunity in it. So the ideas really come from me working with other people and, you know, bouncing ideas off of each other. So I can't say that everything was just all for me. You know, like I say, I'm writing, you know, God would just give me the, you know, the ideas would pop in my head or whatever, and then I would just go off of them like that.
Okay.
So it's a variety of ways I get my ideas. Now I try to be strategic with the thought process. I'm not gonna say I'm strategic with the planning, because I don't really like to plan and follow, you know, everything has to go A, B, C, or 1, 2, 3. No, sometimes I might have to do 3 before I even do one.
But that's the plus of being your own being an entrepreneur. You do it your way.
Yes.
So there's no right or wrong way to being an entrepreneur. So
I'm so glad you said that.
Speaking from experience. So you have to tell me, what is a typical day for Lauren? What does Lauren do for 4212? What is your day? What is your, being the entrepreneur that you are, being the mom and wife that you are, you know, how do you separate the two? You know, when do you separate the two? Are you able to separate the two to say, this is Lauren and this is Studio 4212? What's your day? What does your day look like?
Lauren is Studio 4212. Studio 4212 is Lauren. Lauren husband is Studio 4212. it's like I had, in order to make it work, yeah, he is like so super supportive with getting everything done. So a lot of it is shared between the two. Like I'm the face and he likes to stand behind, and we kind of like just make it work. But usually because it's shared responsibility, so to speak, you know, I get up at about 5. The alarm goes off at 5:30. Now I'm not gonna always say I get up, but we get up at about 5:30. 6 o'clock out the door, doing some type of exercise, whether it's riding the bike, running, walking, getting a little. But we do an hour of something every morning, and we get up. And now, since all of the stuff with the pandemic is going on, a couple of things have shifted. When school was in, we would get the kids together and get them ready for school, and then start the day. But now it's like, okay, well, we have to plan out a little bit more. So it's actually making me become more of a planner, the part of life that I hate. Like sitting down and mapping it out. So we'll do that, and then we do homework with them because they still call it homework. My children don't really, and they're 4. I mean, what do you really expect them to understand? Right. So we deal with them. My oldest, he pretty much does his own little thing, and then the baby, he don't. So the only people that we really are more focused on are the 4-year-olds. So once we get them together, then I come here and it's whatever needs to be done. If I have clients, I get clients, get things together, you know, have everything set up for my clients, because sometimes if I'm working late the day before, I don't always clean up right then and there. So I have to get up a little bit earlier, or come in here a little bit earlier, make sure everything is just properly sanitized and disinfected. Like that's just the norm of what we'll do. And then now that I am actually closer to getting the school open, I'm focusing more on paperwork, making sure things are better organized just on an organizational level with the school, so everything can actually be ready when they come and do their final thing. But I mean, every Studio 4212 is just really at a point now to where I have to be a little bit more organized, because the business has actually like reached a high plateau of like, okay, well, this is your peak right here. Now you have to start getting things done, because I remember I told you I don't like ABC 1, 2, 3, like whatever I feel like doing at that moment, as long as I don't have to be at a place to have my clients together, it's like that's just what it's gonna be.
So tell me, you know, what you saying you have the school come in, will be opening soon. Where does that leave Lauren? Is Lauren still gonna be sitting at her chair doing hair, or is Lauren gonna be sitting being a teacher?
Lauren is going to be the teacher. And the way that cosmetology schools operate is that so first of all, we won't be offering financial aid, which is a thing. So you have to operate 2 years successfully before you can go to the government and say, okay, hey, this is what we've done based upon numbers, how many students we started, how many students actually finished, how many of those that finished actually got their license, out of those that got their license, how many are actually gainfully employed, so how many of them are actually working in the field compared to how many not. So they base your numbers off of that, and you have to be at 75% of, like, at every level, 75%.
Okay.
However, I'm going to be the teacher of it all, because right now on average cosmetology school is about $20,000 per person.
Wow.
The average, my consumer barely makes $20,000 a year, so there's no way I can expect them to afford $20,000 in 12 months. So that means the tuition has to be astronomically low, but which I'm cool with that, because I want to be affordable and help the people who it would actually benefit, because school doesn't have to cost that much. But the flip side to that is that when I first operate, honestly, I'm not able to afford to pay somebody what I feel they're worth as an educator. So that means I have to be the day teacher, I have to be the night teacher, I have to be the registrar, I have to, like, I'm going to operate with all of these hats to start off with, and I'm okay with that. And as the school
so you're
grows,
the dean, you're the chancellor, you're the teacher,
everything.
You're the registrar. You're going to be the counselor. You are
all
everything.
Of that. Okay. So now, what I did have to do is just try to figure out a schedule that would work, because of course, now, God, I would appreciate if we have 100 students ready to enroll, but with cosmetology, you can only have 20 students per instructor. Now, if I exceed the 20 for day and night, I can bring somebody on part-time. Okay. Then that way, you know what I'm saying? Because I still, but the thing is that you want to be able to give somebody a decent wage, especially most of all of the teachers I know, they've been teaching 25, 35 years. Like, I can't just pay nobody and tell them I'm gonna offer you $10 an hour. I would never insult anybody like that. So, and just kind of like go back to what you said about, having the flexibility, control, being your own boss. Like, that's one of the greatest things. I love to control my own narrative. I don't need anybody else to tell my story. Like, I want to be able to tell it myself. And I know that we're talking about the school, and so people would ask me, well, people call, like, they'll call right now and say, oh, so we was trying to see if this school was accredited. for people to know what accrediting means, it really just means that there's a governing agency, an accreditation board, that says that the school is capable of teaching what needs to be taught. So with accreditation, that's basically just a governing, agency, rather, not even a board. It's an agency saying that the school is like, it basically credited to say that the school is sufficient to teach whatever it is that they're teaching. But all schools really don't even they don't even deserve to be accredited, because the teachers that they hire are not even proficient in what they do.
Right.
And I can say that because I've taught at a bunch of schools.
Right.
So don't call me asking me, am I accredited? First of all, I've been teaching for 13 years. 13, 14, whatever. It don't even much matter to me. Past 10, I stopped counting. Just know that you're going to get a phenomenal education by somebody who cares about your success and really has a whole thorough plan for you to start, matriculate on to completion, complete, and then there's a whole phenomenal plan for you, like when you finish
right.
that schools don't even have.
Right.
And see, I can't say the whole thing because we ain't really ready yet to open, but
we'll be back. We're gonna come back and talk about the school, y'all. So there's gonna be a part 2 with Lauren. Don't worry. Don't fret.
So yeah, so that part is just beyond amazing. And then I was saying the accreditation piece, because people were, saying about financial aid. We can't think that everybody can't afford to pay $5,000, right? So, in going back to me controlling my narrative, if I become accredited and get the funding from the government, I have to follow every single thing that they say. And if you've ever dealt with governing agencies, like government agencies rather, they're real, when they're giving you something, you have to follow everything to the T. Well, I don't want to do that.
Right.
And so
because you might give them some additional gems that the government might not require you to give.
And so I want to be able to keep control of my own narrative about any and everything that I do with my business. And that's like, I love that.
Okay. I like that. So right now, what would you consider to be a fear that you have for your business? Is there one? You may not even have one. It seems like you have everything together, but
girl,
is there anything, even with the pandemic happening, is there anything that you feel a little fearful about with your business? Are you worried about anything? And if so, how do you think, or how are you managing to get past it?
So when I answer these kinds of questions, I feel really bad, because most people have a response that they're afraid of something, but I'm not. I wake up every day and I approach every day just as something new. Like if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm not afraid of anything. And I'm not afraid to fail, because I do know that even though I might be upset, I might even cry, whatever. I might even be totally devastated. But it's like, how can you actually prepare for the inevitable? Because we can say that, I'm preparing for this and this, but when it happens, your response is totally different from what you've actually thought to yourself. So for me, I don't even fret my nerves with trying to figure out being afraid. What's going to happen is something's going to happen anyway. So I just deal with whatever it is at that time, but I don't really fear nothing.
Okay. I like that. She doesn't fear y'all. That's all right. That's all right.
So about stuff with my business. Let's make sure we make that clear, because I did say in the beginning part of the interview that I was fearful then, starting off, but I don't really fear anything with the business, because I really feel like that's a big thing to step out and be an entrepreneur. It's so many people who have phenomenal ideas. We look at them like, I'm sure other people too, and they're afraid to step out, and that what they do or what they can offer can be so great. So it don't even much matter. To me it's like it's a privilege to be an entrepreneur, and meaning because sometimes we can hold ourselves captive in our mind, so you become a prisoner to your own mind. Not so much that it's a privilege like, but it's a privilege to give yourself the authority to say, what, I'm stepping out to get this done. I'm going to defy the odds to actually make this business be a business.
I like that. Okay. So what has been the most satisfying moment of Studio 4212?
Everything. Like every single thing. The ups, the downs, the highs, the lows. Because, like I say, for me, everything is really like, what can I learn out of it? Now, you want to know the most satisfying moment for me? Because, I can tell you something. For me, this pandemic has been the most exciting moment for me. I have had the opportunity to stop because everything is my kids, my husband, my business is the kids, the husband, the business is almost like it's so repetitive that you get so lost. And that's why I said when you ask me, it's like, dang, like, yeah, I really don't know what Lauren is. Lauren is all of this that she really don't, but I've had the moment to like really stop and pause. And that's why I can say I can't really say anything bad about it, because for me on a personal level, it has been great. We purchased a new house 3 years ago. I didn't really know what my backyard looked like. So the most satisfying moment for me has been having the opportunity to sit in the she shade, the man cave. It's a variety of things, but to sit back there and then like we have this tree. So, I know y'all don't really know, but like this is me depicting that I'm sitting in our little chair in the she shed. And there's a tree that I can see outside of the doors. And like looking at that tree, like it speaks so much volume to me, just being able to sit there and drink my little coffee and I don't have to move. Because the twins, once we didn't gave them their lesson, they get on their tablets, they don't bother us all day. So they can sit down over there. So that's my new babysitters. The tablets are the babysitters. And I'll just sit outside
enjoy
that moment. Like that has been the most satisfying.
Okay. Girl. So, what piece of advice would you tell a recent college graduate who wants to either be a salon owner or just be a cosmetologist? What would be your advice that you would tell a recent graduate?
So it depends on what they want to do, right? But if I can catch them before they go to college, what I would tell them is, because this is what I did, and I don't even know why I didn't share that before, but it just came back to my mind. So a lot of people say the things that they want to acquire and obtain. And a lot of times when we first graduate from high school, we don't have access to a lot of things. Like we don't have good credit. We don't have no credit for that matter. We don't have access to, a pool of money just sitting on the side. But when you go to college, they're just giving you this money, right? And this is gems for anybody, whether you want to have a career in the beauty industry or not. Take the money, get the maximum amount of money that you can get for the whole year. Take that money and invest it in what you want to have. I remember I went to college and I bought my baby his first house. It was my house, but it's his house. And because I knew that I needed to make sure that he was secure. And I know, like we're talking about, they have the pandemic, then they have all of this stuff with Black Lives Matter and all of this. So this may be, a little bit more deep than when we're talking about business, but it's just on my heart. And I needed to make sure that as a young Black man that he came into like ready for society, because he graduates in 2021 from high school. So I needed to make sure that he didn't have to worry about rent. He didn't have to, I needed to make sure that. So my thing was to secure a home for him, paid for. So I went and bought this abandoned house. It was a Katrina house. It didn't have nothing but the structure. But I paid $10,000 for it. I took the student loan money from school and bought that house. Didn't know how the house was going to get fixed, but guess what? It was ours. It was in my name, and I didn't owe nobody for it. Now, yeah, I had the best part about this with the student loan. As long as I'm in school or just keep putting it in deferment, I ain't got to pay it back no time soon. So I really wasn't worried. And at that time, I really wasn't even thinking about that, because I learned so much stuff about that too. But I wish people would understand that, especially because if you're still living at home with your parents, you don't really have nothing really to worry about. But you take that money and you can invest it in a business. It don't have to just be in a house, but that was for me. So I would tell them, my advice would be to them, going to college, make your choices wisely with the money that you have access to. They don't do a credit check. They don't worry about your credit score. That's money that they will give to you straight into your bank account or on the little debit cards that they're giving out now. And that goes to you. Make your choices wisely, because a lot of us don't have, and meaning us Black people, we don't have access to so many things that other people have. And so I needed to make sure that my son had access. And so that was my driving force for that.
Okay.
But yeah, girl, invest that money. If you have it, take it and invest it in something that's going to be beneficial for you. Now, on the other hand, if you don't, I don't want you to think, because a lot of people are like, I'm not going to go to college. And that's fine. But now you have to come up with a plan as to how you going, like, what do you want? And that's always my first question to people. What do you want? When you tell me what you want, I can better help assess to give you better advice on how to navigate to get it done.
Right.
Somebody fresh coming out of beauty school, if you've already been doing hair, don't worry about it. I know it's easier said than done because we've all been at a place where we were young and maybe so many materialistic things, like it excited us. But if you can get past the show for other people, because really in your mind, when you really think about it, you're only doing it to look like other people, to make them be like, oh, you have it going on, but you really don't. So let's take all this money, because I'm talking about they have some people who doing some hair, they rolling.
Right.
But then what you have to show for it.
Right.
So I would just tell them, the money that you're getting, however you get it, take it and invest it in something that you can have that's going to be for longevity for yourself and if your family, if you have,
right. Okay. If you could press rewind and go back to before 4212, what would you do different?
I don't know. I honestly don't think I would do anything different. And the reason is because if I change something, this might not be my end result.
Right.
And I don't want to give up my end result. I love every single thing. I am at one of the greatest, I've always been like a happy person, but I'm at one of the most happiest places in my life. I don't worry about nothing. I could not have $1 in my pocket. But as long as all my bills are paid, everything at the house is good, like, I'm okay with that. Because running a business, and I say not no money in my pocket, because I have to make sure that whatever extra I do get stays set aside for the business. So Lauren don't have nothing, but the business has everything, if that makes sense. Now I know I can go and get it if I need it. Right. But for the most part, like, I'm happy. Like, I wouldn't change nothing, because I wouldn't probably be at the place. And now we can always think about, well, you might be in a greater place. I might be, but how do I know? Because we don't get that opportunity to press rewind and go back. Right.
Okay, so we are pretty much coming to an end of our conversation, but I have 2 power questions. We like to call them our power questions. Our go-getter questions, those questions that make you think a little bit. So what key things would you recommend to entrepreneurs right now to be investing their time in, or to be investing their money in during this COVID-19, during this pause, during this stop? What would you tell entrepreneurs that they should be doing right now?
Exactly what's going on. Stopping. Because usually as entrepreneurs, we get so caught up in what we see other, and I'm saying this, I can't say we, but I'm going to base this off of myself, because I know that, again, like, I'm a go-getter. We can say all this stuff that I know that I am. But sometimes, especially with the world being, like, at your fingertip, like, I can see just about everything that's going on with my phone. Because I feel like I know everything about everybody, which is only what they put out there. But, in your mind at the time, you're not perceiving it like that. So you want to try to do everything that everybody is doing. So I would advise everybody to just stop. Go back to the drawing board. Just to write everything down about your business, where you started from, where you are, and where you would like to go. Because at some point in time, we've all sat down and wrote down some things that we want to see about our business and things like that. But now, how many of us have actually went back and revisited that list? So I would encourage people to stop, revisit that list, and let's see what adjustments need to be made to,
or that vision board, vision board that they create on December 31st.
Those are my girl. That's
January 1st. They start these vision boards. They do these vision boards, and then here we are mid-year, and we haven't even done anything on it.
Exactly.
So maybe that's it. Take a look. Take a look at your vision board.
Stop
and revamp
and take
it.
a look. But that's why. But see, your vision board should be somewhere where you can see it every day. All of mine, I started doing vision boards like 2014. Every single one from 2014 until now are on my wall. And I go back and I look, and I be like, girl, you did. Girl, they need to go back and recheck any notebook you had, any vision board you done, anything that you done that would give you like a overall of what was your thoughts for your business. Because things happen, just like a lot of us are probably restructuring what will happen beyond COVID-19. So what does that look like to you? Like, does your business even have to make necessary adjustments to fit the realm of what's going on now? And then even something simple as, I know people have been like moving to digital a long time, but like, it seems like now that COVID-19 has happened,
It got
everything
pushed.
is
Just got
going.
pushed
Yeah, it's
into
like,
it.
so you didn't even, you know, this buffer, when they kept saying prepare, if you were not preparing, you definitely were not prepared to a degree, because this just happened. So I would definitely encourage them to revisit what they've already, you know, wrote about, thought about, drew about, anything about their business, in order to revamp it and make it, you know, better. Because we all have things that we can, you know, we may not want to actually admit it, but there's always something that we can do to, you know, make our business better, to do enhancements.
Right. And the second one is, tell us one book, one business book that you have read that helped you along the way. Just one.
I can't even think of one, because I don't be remembering nothing that I be reading. I don't remember none of the names. Now, you know, I probably should have read that question when you texted me. I could have had something in my head. I can't even think of a business book, but I just got finished reading a TD Jakes book, but it wasn't even, I don't even remember the name of the book. I'm not good remembering names.
Or just something inspirational. Maybe it's a social media inspirational person. Maybe it's some digital book that you know, anything.
I don't even know. Let me see. And I don't be on social media like that. But I'm gonna tell you, this is what I do every day. What is that? This is about the best that I could give you right now, because I can't think of no names of no books. But I ride around with this every day, and so I read this, and so this is my daily inspiration. It's not a book, but it's a little card that has a prayer on there. And I say this every single day, because it's really about helping me protect my energy and to help set my priorities for the day. So that's basically what it says. So I read this every single day.
And read it to our guests. Read it to our viewers.
Oh, girl, yeah. So this is what I read every day, y'all. So it says, Lord, I have too much to do, but it's all important. Help me to set priorities so that I don't feel lost in the pace and the pressure. Give me the wisdom and energy to accomplish what's necessary without wasting time or effort. And help me make the best use of my day, remembering that time is a precious gift from you. And I say this every single day to start my day, because one thing that I can do, I can waste a whole lot of time just trying to figure out a lot of stuff. So I have to do something that's going to shape my mental, to help get me ready for the day.
For everything that you have going on.
And so, yeah, and I really, honestly, since this last baby, it's really bad.
What's bad?
It took my memory away. For real, like, I'm being so honest. Y'all, it's bad.
And how old is the baby?
He's 1.
So, y'all, did y'all hear that? This lady has a business. 4 businesses, it seems like. A husband, a set of twins, a teenager, a black male teenage.
Oh, they're all males.
All four
of them are boys.
Are boys.
Yeah.
But let's pause and listen to the fact that she have a 1-year-old. Because I have a 1-year-old, and I know that 1-year-old keeps me on my toes.
Is it a girl or a boy?
A boy.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, you're experiencing the same thing I'm
experiencing. I admire that you have all of this going on. You have this beautiful building. You have Studio 4212 is doing amazing things. Lauren is doing amazing things. And you're doing all of that while raising 4 black men.
Yeah, and trying to remember, that, I'm a black woman. And it's a lot that we deal with, too. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, it's a lot. But that's why I just have to keep it moving. And you can't complain about it, because you find yourself complaining, then you get stuck. I can't get stuck. I don't have time to get stuck, because I still think about them 4 little mouths that's hungry, whining, something that I have to make sure that I have to attend to. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. So we are finished with Lauren, but we want Lauren right now. This is your opportunity. Tell the viewers how to find you. Tell the viewers how to contact you. Tell them anything they need to know about 4212. We have some of your products here. Tell us about Lauren and Studio 4212 and where we can find you.
You can find us. You can find Studio 4212 on Instagram and Facebook at Studio 4212. And if you also are interested in going to beauty school or know anybody that's interested, then you can follow the school at TCI NOLA on Instagram, and on Facebook is the Cosmetology Institute. And we're doing like phenomenal things, all things beauty, hair, skin, and nails. And because I am a beauty provider, we do sell products. I am real big on utilizing Design Essentials products. So anytime you decide to be a client or a student, because if you go to the school, you'll use these products too. But if you want to be a client, We have those products. And even if you don't want to be one of my clients, I mean, the products are very universal, especially for people that have issues with drying hair or dry hair, damaged hair, thinning hair. They have a product, or I can actually make you a concoction, because I'm big on doing those. And I like to do things that a lot of people wouldn't normally do. So you can follow me, like I said, again, on Instagram, Facebook, and then you'll see all of my contact information. I do have a YouTube channel, which is Lauren the Educator. And then we also have the website. So if you want to check out some more things and get more information, the website is www.studio4212.com. That's it, guys.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned a lot from Lauren the Educator. I was just about, before you said you have a YouTube channel, Lauren the Educator, I was about to say we're going to call her Lauren the Educator.
Yeah, that's
We are
me.
not going to call her Lauren, the owner of Studio 4212. She's an educator, y'all. She gave us a lot of information today. I hope you guys are willing, if you need, to support. She's located here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Studio 4212 is an amazing place. We might be able to walk around and see what's going on in this beautiful building.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely have a tour.
Yes.
Girl.
So stay tuned, guys, and thank you for watching One-on-One with Orion.